sole inheritance. Long after the last human footprint had been erased by wind and time, the ants inherited the earth. It began slowly, first with simple tool use, then with communication networks that spanned continents. The great transformation happened almost imperceptibly, like a whisper spreading across generations. Archaeological records, meticulously preserved in underground museums, suggested it took roughly 2.7 million years after human extinction for ants to develop what they now called complex societal intelligence. The first breakthrough came when queen colonies across different continents discovered they could communicate through intricate chemical and electromagnetic signals, creating a global neural network that would have made human internet architects weep with joy. Marco knew this history well. As the lead narrative strategist for Exoskeleton Innovations, the colony's premier marketing and design collective, he'd studied the ancestral archives extensively. The story of their civilization was a testament to patience, collaboration, and an uncanny ability to turn every challenge into an opportunity. Another late night, Zara chirped, her antennae twitching with the kind of enthusiasm that only a 20-day-old intern could muster. Marco's compound eyes rolled in a way that suggested he'd seen approximately 14,732 late nights before this one. Late night? This is what we call prime creativity time, young one. The marketing den was a marvel of repurposed human technology. What was once a corporate boardroom now served as the nerve center of ant innovation. Salvaged computer screens, now modified to respond to chemical signatures, displayed concept designs. Walls were lined with preserved human artifacts, a testament to the species that came before, now serving as inspirational museum pieces. Kai, the team's resident provocateur, slammed down a collection of prototype shoes. "We're not just selling footwear," he declared, "we're selling a philosophy of movement." The current project was ambitious, even by ant standards, a 6-shoe collection that would challenge everything the colony understood about locomotion, self-expression, and social dynamics. The Global Queen Network had been discussing the need for innovation. Worker specialization had reached a point where creativity was becoming as important as efficiency. The old model of uniform march and carry was becoming obsolete. They needed something that would spark imagination across the colony. "Remember," Marco lectured, pulling up holographic images of human marketing campaigns from the archive databases, "humans were masters of creating desire where necessity didn't exist. We're going to channel that spirit." Their research had revealed fascinating human marketing techniques, creating need where none existed, transforming simple objects into lifestyle statements. The ants had studied these techniques for generations, perfecting them beyond their original inventors' wildest dreams. Zara's eyes gleamed. "The stumble stride shoe. It's not just a shoe. It's a statement about embracing imperfection." Kai nodded enthusiastically. "Exactly. We're challenging the very concept of purposeful movement. Why walk in a straight line when you can make every step a performance?" The shoe collection was a metaphorical middle mandible to the traditional march and conform approach. The limping rebellion model featured an asymmetrical sole that guaranteed an unpredictable gait. The spiritual wanderer was essentially a minimalist design that suggested walking was more about internal journey than external destination. Marco remembered the early days of ant technological development, how they'd slowly decoded human technologies, repurposed abandoned infrastructure, and built a civilization that was both a tribute to and a reimagining of what came before. The Global Queen Network was particularly excited about this project. It represented more than just footwear. It was a cultural experiment in individual expression. "Do you realize what we're doing?" Marco muttered, examining the tripping forward shoe, a design that seemed to actively work against natural walking mechanics. "This is sociology wrapped in rubber and design." The prototype samples were a work of art. Each shoe told a story. The stumble stride model celebrated imperfection. The barefoot faith challenged the very notion of protection. The dancing deviation invited workers to see movement as an art form. What the human marketing teams of old had done with smartphones and lifestyle branding, the ants were now doing with shoes, creating desire, generating conversation, challenging established norms. "We're not just selling shoes," Kai proclaimed during a team meeting. We're offering a revolution, wrapped in rubber and design innovation. The colony's leadership, a sophisticated network of Queen-level strategists, watched the project with a mix of curiosity and strategic interest. They understood that cultural evolution required occasional disruption. Historical records showed how ants had gradually developed from simple foragers to a complex, globally connected civilization. The development wasn't linear. It was a complex dance of adaptation, communication, and collective intelligence. When the first batch of shoes hit the colony's distribution networks, the response was immediate and explosive. Workers began experimenting with walking styles. Entire work units started incorporating deliberate irregularities into their movement patterns. It's performance art, Zara would explain to anyone who would listen. We're challenging the very concept of efficient movement. Marco watched, simultaneously proud and bemused. What had begun as a marketing campaign was transforming into a cultural movement. The global Queen network monitored the developments with scientific precision. Chemical communication channels buzzed with analysis, discussion, potential sociological implications. We're creating more than a product, Marco told Zara one night as they reviewed sales and social impact data. We're creating a dialogue about individual expression. And indeed they were. The shoes became more than footwear. They became symbols of a civilization that had learned from its predecessors' mistakes, a society that valued creativity, individual expression, and the art of deliberate imperfection. As dawn broke over the vast underground metropolis, Marco looked at his team. Zara's eyes burned with creative fire. Kai's mandibles were set in determination. The soul revolution had begun, and this time it wasn't just about walking, it was about moving forward, one intentionally imperfect step at a time. In the Grand Museum of Civilizational Development, this would be remembered as the moment ants truly understood that movement was more than just getting from point A to point B. It was about the journey, the style, the statement. And if that statement happened to involve a shoe that made you trip spectacularly, well, that was just a bonus.